God.
All right. Hi, Neha. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
And hello to the rest of 551. I hope everyone is having a good week. Today, we are going to be talking about the basics of the Unreal sequencer. So this is kind of a good introduction to filmmaking in Unreal. We're just going to kind of go through the process of setting it up and building. So we're going to build a level. We're going to build a level sequence. We're going to, as you can see, this doesn't look totally normal. I went through this process to insert a character into our environment or into our project. And yeah, we can then we'll be able to take that and build a little animation with it. So let's get started. Any questions so far, Neha?
None.
Great. All right, so this workflow is based on another tutorial that John Brennan did that was really good. And it's basically the same as that. So we will begin with building a level. So I like to do that by just making a levels folder in our project. And so here's our level. And so we're going to right click and build a new level. So we're going to call this level 1. All right, and save. All right, so here we have a totally blank level. You can't see anything. So that's kind of a bummer, but not to worry. We'll insert some stuff. So I just inserted a plane. I'll insert a point light. So as you can see, the point light is doing some stuff, but let's just make this level viewable. This is something else I like to do. Just an Hdri backdrop is a really easy way. It's just like this big dome that you can, it's just good for, it's just a good way to quickly get a light, a little kind of environment into our scene. So yeah, we've got we don't need that point light anymore because we have the sunlight now. And this is where we're gonna put our character. So that's a level, right? The next thing, then I imported this character from Vignesh's project, Boovi, into the project, into this as well. So we're gonna put her there. That's her. And yeah, that's pretty cool. So any other requests for this environment that we're going to be shooting our sequence on? We also gave her an animation, by the way. I also imported that, so we'll see that in just a sec. But any questions so far? All right, so quick, very basic level. All right, so now we're gonna set up a sequence. This is really cool. This is building a sequence. The sequencer is one of the coolest parts of Unreal for filmmaking. So the way to do that is we're going to build a new folder, sequences.
Okay, before you go into the sequences, so you got the environment already and created a level and then just got the character and imported the animation.
Well, I imported the animation in advance.
Okay, so yeah,
right.
But the background that we see, the trees and everything, is your environment that you've just.
Yeah, that's all. If you go to this place actors that comes up automatically, the Hdri backdrop is just one of the things you can insert.
Okay.
It's just right there. We can get rid of it, and then there's no light. But yeah, it gives this kind of lighting setup, and it gives this other thing, and it's, you know, it actually looks pretty cool if you you're just kind of looking at it like that.
Right.
But it'll work for the purposes of this. The one thing I kind of wanted to import maybe we'll do a little material just to we don't need to worry about that now, but if we wanted to, we could make it kind of grassy looking. It's not really very grassy looking, but it works. So but yeah, anyways, that'll just be nice. So now it's a little bit grassy. The better way to do that is with mega scans, but that's for the next tutorial. I'll show you how to do that in the next tutorial. This one is not even about building environments. This is about the sequencer. So yeah, and stop me if you have any other questions, Neha. So now that we have our sequences folder, we are going to create a sequence. So we go to animation, level sequence, boom. We're gonna name that master sequence. And there we go. And so I generally this is the sequencer window. I generally put it right there. And this is great. We're just gonna put it there. It's easy. And so basically once you have this master sequence, this is where your characters are gonna go. And so I imported this animation earlier. So as you can see, this is now kind of just a timeline of kind of like Premiere, where our animation takes place. We're gonna make it long. I think this is a 600 frame animation. Oh no, it's a 300 frame animation. But yeah, so there we go. Our character's playing some hopscotch and then she stops, right? And so what we're gonna wanna do is make this cinematic. So the one last thing we do before we build our shot track, which is how we actually see it in a cinematic way, is we just have to add our camera. So we're gonna add our camera. We're gonna put it there. Just there is fine for now. And yeah, I think we're all good. So I'm gonna save and we're gonna build our shot track. Any questions? All right, let's do it. So we want a, what do we want? We want a, oh no, sorry, that was wrong. I didn't mean to do that. We want you just right click here. I was pressing on Boovie, the character herself. We want a shot track.
Yeah.
So from there we can add shots. So we're gonna insert a shot. And so this menu comes up here and it saves it into our sequence folder. So that's fine. Shot 001001. Yeah, great. So that means we can actually go into this shot and we have what is taking place on the master sequence, and then we have what's taking place in the shot. So each shot is kind of its own little miniature scene. So what we can do is we can add that. So this is our camera, right? And our camera can be different on each shot. And this is how you toggle between what we're seeing in the camera and in the actual and versus the actual view. And this is nice because you go like that and you can basically position your camera. Oh, also, I didn't mention this, but that's how you go between your shot and your master sequence. But what you can actually do here is you can make a lot of adjustments to the type of camera that you want. And there's a lot of really cool things that you can, ways you can program your camera. So like we're gonna have, 16:9, focal length, aperture. You can change all kinds of stuff. Rendering features, length, exposure. But yeah, well, you can also, we can worry about that later, but yeah, it's really nice. But yeah, so here we have the shot of Boovie, right? We probably want this to be a little closer. I don't know and I'm just adjusting the aperture so that we can see her better. But yeah, so that looks like a good first shot. So I'm gonna save that. And then that's our first shot, right? All right, so that's good. And then we need another shot. Insert shot. There we go. And so with this shot, right, we can bring our camera back in and its position will be there, but we want it to be a different kind of shot. So we'll put this one, we probably want the focal length, we want it maybe a little further back. All right, let's see. Maybe a little, maybe a little further back. What's happening here? Save. We could do a few things here. We could, I don't know why that's acting up. That should be, probably because we are not there in the timeline, as you can see. Right, so as you can see now we're where we need to be. So now, because basically I was still there in the timeline, if not in the master sequence. So even though I was clicking on that shot, we were still seeing what was in the other shot. So now we're where we need to be. Let's put it, we'll put that here. We'll have a little tracking shot maybe. So that looks pretty good. We want to see her feet because she's doing some cool footwork here. And we also probably want it to move, right? So this is where we can go transform. I'll just set a key there, and we want it to follow her. So I'm just going to move that like that, move this way. And also the way I'm moving so quickly, I should have mentioned, is you just use right click and WASD. And that is just a really easy way to navigate your scene pretty fast. I'm just going to set another key, let's say there. And so this camera movement looks pretty nice. Maybe when she looks back, we can even do this. Get a little shot of her face. So that looks pretty cool, right? That was a little too fast. Way too fast. So let's get rid of that key. Let's maybe just make it there. Cool. I don't know. We'll see how that looks. I'm just messing around here. It doesn't matter. There's a bunch of stuff you can do. Literally, you can key anything. Pretty much anything in Unreal. Any camera settings, focal length, aperture, depth of field, focus, bloom, you name it, you can key it and change it over time. And that's why the sequencer is so great, is now we have a little sequence, and each one of these is like a little shot in Premiere or whatever. However, we have absolute control over it. Oh, so it should have ended maybe there. But we have total control. We can go from one scene to the other, no problem. And we can add different lights. Oh, here, let's move that there. We can add different lights in each shot, in each sequence. The sequencer is the best. It's amazing. You can literally do anything with this. I hope this tutorial has opened your mind to the infinite possibilities of the sequencer in Unreal Engine. Any other questions, Neha? Anything you want to see?
None so far.
Any modifications to this scene that you would want?
So we can add lights as well, right? In the sequence, in the shot itself. So we can have different lights for different shots.
Right. So that's a great point that you bring up about lights, right? So let's say we want a light over her the whole time, right? Mm-hmm. So let's take that off, right? So I unclick that so that we weren't seeing the actual shot, but just, so we'll go light, we'll say, let's give her a point light right there for the whole time, right? But let's say, all right, so we want this, I don't know why we would want this light there, whatever, but you get it. So she's a little brighter now. Let's see how that looks. That's kind of scary. but she's very bright. But let's say we want we want this light to be purple, right? So since this is in the master sequence, so this is in the master sequence, so that means that we'll be able to see it for the entirety of the time. However, so you can still see traces of it, but it's still there. However, let's say we want only for a certain point on this shot to see that light, then we'll add the point light there and put it in just the shot. And well, I think so it's there overall, right? Well, is it? It's a good question. Yeah, I guess it's there. How do you do that? It's a good question. So that's there overall, but how is it not active? How do we make it not active? Well, there's a bunch of ways you could do it, right? We could say prior to this shot, it has 0 intensity. And then once this shot rolls around, once she gets closer to the light, we can make a key where it's super bright. So now you can tell, oh, it's getting nice and bright when she gets towards it. So that's one of many ways to do that. But yeah, in theory, I'm trying to think what happened. Oh, you know what? I made the mistake of putting it in there, I think. I'm pretty sure you can just say add actor to sequencer. Let's say light.
Can't you like drag a light into the
Right.
sequencer directly? I don't know.
You could probably just do this. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. That's how you do it. So we're just dragging it direct into this shot as opposed to into, so you can see here in the world outliner, it's not in the master sequence. There you go, Neha. It's only in this shot, in shot 0020. Way to go. So yeah, that's kind of cool. That's just, you can literally, so I hope this kind of, when I first learned about this sequencer, I thought, wow, this is the best thing to happen in filmmaking because you can actually, you have just total control. You can make adjustments. Oh, and as you can see, that light is not there, but it's here. See? Boom, 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 boom. So the light exists in the shot, which you get by double clicking it. Doesn't exist here. It doesn't exist now. See, it's red, but now it exists. And so that's kind of nice, right? Like, let's say you want one shot to be different than another one, or you have that control and you can go in and modify whatever it is you want. Let's say you only want certain animations to take place within a certain shot. You have all that control. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. Any other questions? Oh, I should also show you how to render. So in order to, let's say we now want to render this shot. We just go save, and this pulls up. So we want to render the master sequence to there.
Kobe, what did you click? I forgot about rendering. What is it that we click?
Sorry. So this thing right here, render this movie to a video or image frame sequence. So what you can just do is you can just say, I'm going to render it to, this is the new 4.27. This is in 4.271, by the way, and I'll make this project available, but this is, how do I setting, we want it to be a probably Apple ProRes. Yeah, Yeah, there you go. And then we can just say, we don't want that. We want this, accept, and let's see if that works. Documents, Unreal Project Tutorial. Yeah, let's see. Render local. And there we go. Can you see it rendering?
I can. Yes.
So now we're rendering, and now we have a video that we can do whatever we want with. Now I'm pulling it up, and can you see that? Can you see my? You probably can't see, but it rendered. So that's exciting. Very cool stuff. Yeah. Any other questions? What I'm gonna be covering next week, or in 2 weeks, is kind of how to build a more in-depth environment using Megascans. So that's pretty cool. You can build environments super quickly for previs or for whatever it is you want to do. Then I'm gonna kind of discuss how I was able to get this character into here, how to build a character, how to customize a character, how to animate the character using, the way that I do it is with this iClone software, but there's a bunch of different ways you could do it. There's a bunch of different ways you can do work with Unreal. The possibilities are just endless with this program. It's pretty crazy. Any further questions? That's it. All right. Well, thank you, Neha, for being here. And thank you to those of you who are watching this at a later date. I hope you learned about the sequencer and its many virtues. Okay. Have a good night, Neha, and see you later, class. See you soon.